Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. What happens when you get a message, a call, an email, a DM? How do you respond? Do you react like a robot, or do you take massive action and make it your own? You see, today we're talking about something so important. We're talking about the power you have at your fingertips when you take control of your responses, your life, your choices. Never do this when a man contacts you. But never, ever give away your power. It doesn't matter if it's a boss, a friend, a colleague, a partner, or someone you barely know. Listen to me. Do not allow anyone to define your worth. When that phone buzzes, you don't react like a slave to your emotions. No! You decide how you show up, you decide how you respond, and you unleash the full force of who you are in that moment. Let me tell you something. Every single time you take a reactionary step instead of a deliberate, empowered one, you chip away at your potential. You're not just losing a moment. You're losing an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to break free from old patterns, an opportunity to take massive action and show the world that you are in charge of your destiny. Why do we keep playing small when the world is waiting for us to step into our greatness? It's easy, isn't it, to fall into the trap, to wait for validation, to hope someone else will make the decision for you. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to win, you have to take charge, baby. You want to grow, you want to achieve your big dreams, you can't wait for someone else to put you on the pedestal. You have to put yourself there. So here's what I want you to do. The next time someone contacts you, man, woman, whoever, doesn't matter, you take control. You stop reacting out of fear. You stop doubting yourself. You stop playing small. Instead, you respond with clarity, with power, with purpose. You decide in that moment to own your response. You decide to set your boundaries and lead with confidence. When someone contacts you, ask yourself, what can I do in this moment to unleash the best version of myself? What can I do today to step closer to the life I know I deserve? You hear me? You have the power to shape that conversation. You have the ability to shift that interaction from an ordinary moment into a life-changing catalyst for your growth. Are you going to step up and unleash your greatness? Are you going to take ownership of your life, your career, your relationships, your dreams? Or are you going to let someone else dictate the pace? I want you to stop hiding behind your fears. Stop letting other people pull your strings. You have everything inside of you to create what you want. When someone contacts you, man or anyone, you have the opportunity to redefine the moment. You are a force, and it's time you start acting like one. Now let's talk about taking massive action. You don't sit around waiting for permission. You don't wait for someone to make it easy for you. You make it happen now. This is your moment. The world doesn't wait for anyone. You have to move fast. And fast doesn't mean frantic. No, fast means decisive. Fast means strategic. Fast means knowing what you want and taking immediate steps toward it. And yes, there will be obstacles along the way. There will be challenges. There will be doubts. But you know what? You were made for this. You're not weak. You're not fragile. You're powerful beyond measure. And it's time to remind yourself of that. So, from this day forward, never give away your power when someone contacts you. Stand tall. Respond with intention. Take charge of your life. You are the creator of your future, and you hold the keys to your success. Are you ready? Are you ready to make the world yours? Then let's get to work, because the world doesn't wait for anyone, but I'll tell you what, the world will make room for someone who's ready to take action. When a man contacts you, it's easy to feel a surge of emotions, thoughts, and sometimes even doubts about yourself. The first thing that can slip away in those moments is your sense of self-worth. But here's the truth. Your worth is not determined by anyone's opinion, attention, or validation. It is something you hold within you, something you build every single day with your actions, your choices, and your mindset. So why is it so easy to give away our power when someone contacts us? Why do we sometimes find ourselves shrinking or feeling unsure, even though we know deep down we're capable of so much more? The answer is simple. Society has trained us to seek approval, to look outside ourselves for validation, to wait for someone else to confirm that we matter. But that's where we go wrong. Never do this when a man contacts you. Never let him determine how you see yourself. When that phone buzzes, when you see his name pop up, your immediate reaction can either lift you up or pull you down. Too often we let that instant interaction decide our emotional state. If he's not responsive enough, if he's distant, if he doesn't meet our expectations, we start questioning our value. But in those moments, you need to pause and realize that your self-worth is not tied to anyone's actions. Not his, not anyone else's. Your worth is inherent. You are powerful, beautiful, and capable just as you are. But it's easy to forget that when the world outside you is constantly telling you to be more, do more, and please others. The moment you allow someone's contact to shake your foundation, you are giving away the one thing you have complete control over, how you see yourself. So what do we do instead? You respond from a place of strength. You remind yourself that you are the creator of your reality, and you get to decide how you show up. You don't need anyone's approval to feel complete. The next time a man contacts you, you take a deep breath and ask yourself, what do I want to do with this moment? Will you let it define you, or will you define the interaction on your own terms? Self-worth isn't something that fluctuates with every text, call, or comment you receive. It's rooted in your sense of self, in your ability to stand tall and be unapologetically you. You are not defined by external circumstances, but by how you choose to navigate those moments. When you start owning your self-worth, you stop seeking validation outside of yourself. You stop depending on anyone's approval to feel good enough. Your worth isn't just about feeling confident when things are going well. It's about how you respond when challenges arise. When a man contacts you, and maybe the message isn't exactly what you expected, you have a choice. Will you let it affect your self-esteem, or will you stand strong in the knowledge that you are worthy of the best, and you don't need anyone to confirm that? The more you practice this, the more you begin to build that unshakable foundation within yourself. Never forget that your worth is non-negotiable. It isn't tied to what someone else says or does. The moment you give away your power, the moment you react with uncertainty, you're allowing someone else to dictate how you feel about yourself, and that's not the way it should be. You are the only one who gets to define your value. No one can take that away from you unless you let them. So next time a man contacts you, stand tall, stand strong, own your worth, know that you are enough just as you are. You don't need to prove it. You don't need to beg for it. You don't need to earn it. You just need to remember it, hold on to it, and let it fuel the way you interact with the world. Your self-worth is yours to keep, and no one can take that from you unless you allow them to. When a man contacts you, how do you respond? Do you feel pressured to reply immediately? Do you find yourself bending your boundaries to meet his expectations or to make him feel comfortable? Here's the thing, boundaries are not just about keeping others at a distance. They're about defining and protecting who you are and what you will accept in your life. When you let someone else dictate your boundaries, you compromise your peace, your happiness, and your growth. Never do this when a man contacts you. Never compromise your boundaries. Boundaries are a form of self-respect. They are the limits you set to protect your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Boundaries are the form, but too often we let external forces like the pressure of someone contacting us, the fear of upsetting others, or the need for approval blur those lines. When we don't clearly define what we will and won't tolerate, we end up in situations that drain us, confuse us, and sometimes hurt us. Let's get clear. Boundaries are not about being cold or distant. They are not about pushing people away. They are about honoring yourself and ensuring that your needs, your time, and your energy are respected. When a man contacts you, it's an opportunity to reflect on what you truly need and want in that interaction. Are you responding because you feel obligated? Are you replying just to keep the peace? Or are you taking control of the situation by communicating your boundaries with clarity and confidence? Too often, women find themselves in situations where they feel overwhelmed by someone else's expectations. We fear rejection, confrontation, or being seen as difficult when we assert our boundaries. But let me tell you something. A person who truly respects you will honor your boundaries, and someone who doesn't respect them isn't worth your time or energy. Boundaries aren't just for keeping people at bay. They are for bringing in the right people who uplift and support you. When a man contacts you, don't fall into the trap of feeling like you have to drop everything and respond immediately. You get to decide how and when to engage. Your time is valuable, your energy is precious, and you are in control of how much of yourself you give away in every interaction. If you feel like you're being pressured, overwhelmed, or uncertain about how to respond, that's a clear sign that your boundaries are being pushed. And when that happens, you need to step back, breathe, and get clear on what you need in that moment. Asserting your boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to being accommodating or afraid of rejection. But once you get in the habit of respecting your own limits, you'll find that the right people will start showing up, the wrong people will fade away, and you'll start building stronger, more meaningful connections. Your boundaries also reflect your self-worth. When you don't set clear limits, you send the message that your needs don't matter, that you're willing to bend or sacrifice for someone else's comfort. But the truth is, you deserve to have your boundaries respected and honored. Whether it's how much time you're willing to give, how much emotional energy you're ready to invest, or the type of communication you'll accept, it's your right to set those boundaries. Don't let anyone manipulate or guilt you into doing something you're not comfortable with. When a man contacts you, ask yourself, what am I willing to give in this interaction? How do I want to engage, and what do I need from this conversation? Do you feel rushed to respond out of fear of judgment or rejection? Or do you pause, reflect, and communicate your needs clearly? Setting those boundaries is the ultimate act of self-love and self-respect. You teach others how to treat you by the way you treat yourself. So next time a man contacts you, take a moment. Don't feel pressured to respond immediately. Be clear on what you want from that interaction and assert your boundaries with confidence. You don't have to answer on his timeline. You don't have to engage if it doesn't align with your values or your emotional needs. You get to decide what works for you, and that's how you protect your peace. Boundaries are your shield. They keep you grounded, and they keep you on the path toward the life you're building. When a man contacts you, the question becomes, how will you respond? Will you react from a place of power and control, or will you let that interaction determine how you feel about yourself? Empowerment is the key to making that decision. It's about taking control of your life and choosing to stand firm in your own strength. Never give away your power when a man contacts you. You have the ability to shape how you respond, and by embracing your empowerment, you take charge of your own destiny. Empowerment isn't just a buzzword. It's a mindset, a way of living. It's about recognizing that you are in control of your emotions, your actions, and your decisions. When a man reaches out to you, it's easy to get swept up in the emotions of the moment. You might feel a sense of obligation to reply right away, to please him, or to meet his expectations. But empowerment means you don't need to seek validation from anyone outside of yourself. You have everything you need within you to decide how to respond with confidence and clarity. So often, we give away our power without even realizing it. We put others' opinions before our own. We silence our own needs just to avoid conflict or rejection. But that's not true empowerment. Empowerment is knowing that you are worthy of respect and love regardless of what anyone else thinks or how they act. Empowerment means you don't have to please anyone. You don't have to chase approval. You don't have to accept disrespect. You are the author of your own story, and no one else can write that for you. When a man contacts you, it's essential to remember that you don't owe anyone a response just because they reached out. You are allowed to take the time you need to think things through. You don't need to make quick decisions out of pressure or fear. Empowerment is about making conscious choices, deciding how to show up in every situation, including when someone contacts you. When you're empowered, you don't just respond, you respond from a place of strength, knowing exactly what you need and how to protect your peace. Empowerment also means setting your own standards. You get to decide what is acceptable in your life and what isn't. You don't have to accept treatment that doesn't align with your values. If someone contacts you and their message doesn't honor your boundaries, if their words or actions feel disrespectful or manipulative, empowerment is about walking away. You have the right to say, "This isn't for me," and move on. You do not have to engage with anyone who doesn't treat you with the respect and care you deserve. But true empowerment goes beyond just setting boundaries. It's also about the confidence to express your truth. When a man contacts you, do you feel free to express what you really think and feel, or do you hold back to avoid conflict? Empowerment means you can stand in your truth without fear of judgment. You respond with honesty, confidence, and self-assurance. You show the world who you really are. You show them that you don't hide, you don't shrink, and you don't back down from what you believe is right for you. Empowerment is about seeking your truth and owning it. When you live from a place of empowerment, you stop seeking outside validation. You stop looking for someone to tell you that you're good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, or worthy enough. You know in your core that you are all of those things. Empowerment is an internal force. It's something that comes from within, and it can't be taken from you unless you allow it. When a man contacts you, remember that you get to decide how much of yourself you're willing to give and how you're going to engage. You are empowered to set the tone of that interaction. Empowerment is also about taking responsibility for your own happiness. No one else can give you that. When someone contacts you, it's easy to let your emotions be influenced by their words or tone. But your happiness is your own responsibility. Don't let anyone take that from you. When you respond with empowerment, you come from a place of internal strength, not from a place of needing someone else to fulfill you or make you feel whole. When a man contacts you, the first question you must ask yourself is, who is in control? Are you letting the interaction take the lead, or are you stepping into your own power and guiding the conversation on your terms? Control is one of the most powerful aspects of our lives, yet so often we hand it over without even realizing it. We let external factors like someone else's actions or words dictate how we feel, how we react, and how we engage. But here's the truth. You should never relinquish control when a man contacts you. You are the one in charge of your responses, your emotions, and ultimately your life. Too often we believe that control means we need to dominate or manipulate a situation. But control, in its truest sense, is about owning your reactions and choices. It's about not letting anyone or anything push you off your course. When you are in control, you make deliberate choices about how to engage with others, especially in moments of contact like this. When someone reaches out, you decide if it's worth your time, if it aligns with your boundaries, and if it meets your standards. You are in the driver's seat of your life, and you are the only one who can determine the direction you're going. Think about the times you felt pressured to respond quickly, to fit someone else's timeline, or to act in a way that doesn't truly serve you. In those moments, control slips away. You begin reacting to external stimuli, rather than responding from a place of clarity and intention. But true control comes from within. It means that you don't allow the situation or the other person's actions to force you into a reaction. Instead, you take the time to evaluate, to reflect, and to respond with purpose. When a man contacts you, you control when and how you respond. You don't owe anyone an immediate reply, and you certainly don't have to respond in a way that compromises your peace or self-respect. Having control doesn't mean you close yourself off or create walls around you. It means you set the pace. If someone reaches out and you're not ready to engage, you don't need to feel guilty about taking a moment to gather your thoughts. You have the right to prioritize your time and emotional energy. Control is about deciding what gets your attention and what doesn't. It's about making intentional decisions about how you engage with others. When you have control, you recognize that your time is valuable and your emotional well-being is sacred. You don't need to rush to fulfill someone else's needs before your own. It's also important to realize that when you're in control, you can set boundaries. Control and boundaries go hand in hand. When a man contacts you, you get to decide what kind of interaction is acceptable. You have the right to set clear limits and ensure that your needs and values are respected. Never do this when a man contacts you. Don't let him dictate the terms of your interaction. If his message feels disrespectful or makes you uncomfortable, you have every right to disengage. If he's pressuring you, you have the power to say, no, this isn't working for me, without guilt. True control also means not letting your emotions be hijacked by someone else's actions. If a man's message makes you anxious or frustrated, it's easy to let those feelings take over. But when you're in control, you don't let anyone manipulate your emotion. You recognize that your feelings are your own, and you can choose how to respond. If you need time to cool off, take it. If you need space to think, create it. Control is about owning your emotions, not letting them control you. The next time someone reaches out, remember this. You are in control of how you respond and how you choose to engage. You are the captain of your own ship, and you don't have to let anyone else steer it. You own your control and never let anyone take that from you. When a man contacts you, how do you feel about yourself in that moment? Do you second guess your worth, question your value, or feel uncertain about how to respond? Confidence is the key to answering this question, and it's crucial that you never let go of it when someone reaches out to you. Never do this when a man contacts you. Never allow his presence to shake your confidence. Confidence isn't just a fleeting feeling or a trait you're born with. It's a powerful force that you can cultivate and protect every single day. When you respond with confidence, you are asserting your self-worth and reinforcing your ability to navigate any situation with grace, clarity, and power. It's easy to lose confidence in the face of external pressure. When someone contacts you, especially if it's someone you care about or someone you don't know well, it can trigger feelings of anxiety or uncertainty. The fear of saying the wrong thing or not meeting expectations can create self-doubt. But here's the truth. Your confidence should never be contingent on another person's actions or words. Your confidence comes from within, and it's anchored in your ability to trust yourself, make decisions that align with your values, and remain grounded in your own sense of self-worth. When you let someone's contact affect your confidence, you are allowing them to control how you feel. But when you stand firm in your confidence, you take the power back. You recognize that you don't need anyone's approval or validation to know your worth. Confidence is about knowing you are enough, just as you are. You don't need to change or shape-shift to fit someone else's expectations. You get to decide how much of yourself you give in any interaction, and your confidence allows you to set the terms without hesitation. The next time a man contacts you, ask yourself, how do I want to show up in this situation? Will you shrink back in self-doubt, or will you respond from a place of strength? Confidence means that you can engage in the conversation without fear of judgment. It means that you can speak your truth, express your desires, and hold firm in your boundaries without apologizing. When you are confident, you don't feel the need to explain or justify your decisions. You simply own them. Confidence also means not letting anyone push you into a space where you feel uncomfortable. If a man contacts you and his message doesn't align with your values or doesn't make you feel good about yourself, confidence empowers you to say no without hesitation. You don't have to explain your boundaries or reasons for not engaging. You know your worth, and you don't need to compromise that for anyone. Confidence means trusting your instincts and acting in alignment with what feels right for you, regardless of external pressures. It's important to understand that confidence doesn't mean perfection or always having all the answers. Confidence is about owning your imperfections and showing up authentically, even when you don't have everything figured out. It's okay to not have all the answers, but what matters is that you trust yourself to navigate the situation with grace and clarity. Confidence allows you to be vulnerable, yet still maintain a sense of self-assurance. You don't need to have all the control or all the right responses to every situation. What matters is that you believe in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. When you respond to a man contacting you with confidence, you shift the energy of the interaction. Confidence is magnetic. People are drawn to your energy, your poise, and your ability to stand strong in who you are. When you believe in yourself, others believe in you too. You create an environment where respect is mutual, where your boundaries are honored, and where the interaction is rooted in equality and self-assurance. Never let a moment of contact from anyone take away your confidence. You hold the power to protect it, to nurture it, and to show up as the strong, confident, and capable person you are meant to be. Own it, and let that confidence guide you to the life you deserve.